In this video, I'm going to show you how to build 3 beautiful conversion-focused headers, especially for modern landing page designs using the visual editor in both Thrive Theme Builder and Thrive Architect. And by the end of this video, you're also going to know how to 100% customize and manage headers across your WordPress website so you never have to settle for using an ugly or inadequate header design ever again. Hi, I'm Matt from Thrive Themes, and I know getting the exact header design you want on your website has long been a problem for WordPress users, especially for those of us who don't know how to code. But times are changing, and with Thrive Theme Builder, you can now build and deploy any header design you need across both the standalone landing pages of your site and the theme-controlled pages of your site. And one of the modern conversion-focused header designs we're seeing more and more of these days is what we like to call a sticky transition header design. And it's sticky because the header stays pegged to the top of the page as a visitor scrolls down. And we say it transitions because the design on page load can be completely different from the design on scroll. It just transitions from that page load design to the scroll design. You're starting to see this type of header design more and more these days for 2 reasons. Number one, there's a growing trend towards longer form content, and as a result, people are becoming more accustomed to scrolling down for that information. And number 2, the popularity of using hero images in the above the fold area of landing pages really requires one header design on page load and a different header design optimized for scrolling below the fold. So when should you consider using one of these advanced header designs? Well, I have 2 rules of thumb for you. First, consider using a sticky header design whenever your landing page exceeds 2 screen-full lengths of content. I'm using this cutoff because there was a 2018 Nielsen-Norman Group study showing how people usually spend about 75% of their time in those top 2 screenfuls of content. So using this data, I think it's wise to make your header sticky on long landing pages so you can keep your main navigation and your call to action, your primary call to action, in view as people scroll down into the depths of your landing page. Second, you should consider using a sticky transition header whenever you use a hero image in the above the fold area of your landing pages for the reasons I spoke about previously. So now that you know when to use either a sticky header or a sticky transition header design, let's now discuss how you should manage all your different header designs when you build them with the visual editor inside either Thrive Theme Builder or Thrive Architect. So let's get started by discussing how to manage your theme-controlled headers across your website. Now, this is done with Thrive Theme Builder, which is installed as your WordPress theme. And within Thrive Theme Builder, we currently have the Shapeshift companion theme loaded. Now, when you install and activate Thrive Theme Builder, you'll need to go through the site setup wizard. And in it, you'll go through a number of steps, the first 3 of which are setting up a logo, setting up your brand color, and this is a smart color that will automatically generate a smart palette of colors that will be applied to the smart templates you use across your site, which really diminishes the editing burden on you, especially when it comes to color design. So this is a super awesome feature of Thrive Theme Builder, as you'll soon see with the headers. And then you'll need to choose a header, a default header design. Now, when you open the header template library, you can see there are dozens of headers to choose from here. And you can just select one, and if you click choose, it then gets applied across your website as the default header. Now let's go back to that header option, and I'm just going to reselect this call to action one, call to action number 4, and set it to be our default header. So the last thing I want to show you is the menu option here, because it pertains to our header design. Under header menu, you can either select any WordPress menu you've already created, or I will choose later. If you choose the second, then you'll need to custom modify your navigation menu in this header all the time. But if you select something like your main menu WordPress header, then it will automatically populate the menu in the header designs that you're about to see without you having to do any work. So I recommend doing this if you have one already set up, but it's not necessary. From there, we can come into the templates, the theme templates section of the Thrive Theme Builder dashboard. And here you can see all of the different theme templates that Thrive Theme Builder controls. So say your standard blog post templates, your video post template, your audio post template, and even an image post template. You have the default page template. So anytime you create a new page in WordPress, this will be the default design that populates. But just to show you how that default header design we chose works, I'm going to enter the standard post template. And as you can see, that same call to action default header design we chose has automatically been populated by the logo we chose, the menu we chose, and just the overall design is the same as that pre-designed template. And just to show you how when you select a template in the site setup wizard and how it gets applied across your website, let's go into the active homepage. Now here in the active homepage, you can see that that same header design has been applied, but notice that something's different here. If you look in the upper left corner of the Thrive Visual Editor, you're going to see the Thrive Architect symbol and this note on top of a green background saying you are editing content. This is your indicator that you are in the Thrive Architect Visual Editor and you are indeed editing a landing page or editing content. If we come back to that standard blog post template we were modifying, you'll notice that the visual editor has the Thrive Theme Builder logo and a note saying you are editing a template. This is your indicator, also with the blue, showing that you are in Thrive Theme Builder's visual editor. So from here, let's see how we can edit, customize, and manage templates across both of these visual editors. If we highlight the header element, you'll notice in the left sidebar under header options that you have three choices to either replace a header template, and if we click on that, what loads is the header template library. You have the option to select any of the pre-designed header templates, or if you clicked on My Saved Headers, then your previously saved custom headers will be available and you can swap them out here. If you click on the Edit button, the editing header mode opens and you see that with this peach color here. And any design customization you do here, once you save it, it will instantly apply to all other instances of your website where that particular header is being used. So because this is the default site-wide template, if I do something like change this call to action button from the branding color blue to say this spindle color blue and apply it, and then click done and save the work, you'll notice even if we come into the Thrive Architect Visual Editor and then I reload the page that's using that same default site-wide header, that call to action button color change automatically takes effect. So this is important to know when you're editing a global header design, the changes you make are automatically going to apply across your entire website where that header is in use. Now, if you don't want to make a site-wide change like that, one of the options you have in Thrive Theme Builder's visual editor is this unlink option. And if you click on it and press save, you'll be prompted to save the header as a new custom header with a new name. So I'll just call this one custom header test. Click save, and now any change I make is not going to apply site-wide. It's only going to apply to this new header design. So if I highlight the header, click edit again, and change the call to action button color from blue to say yellow, and save it, you'll notice if I reload the home page, that design change will not apply. as you can see here. So now let's switch gears and just see how editing and managing headers in Thrive Architect's visual editor works. If we click on the header element, you'll notice that you have the option to either edit a header, which works just like edit in the Thrive Theme Builder's visual editor, or change header, which works just like the replace option inside Thrive Theme Builder's visual editor. You still have the option to choose a saved header, or if you click create new header, all of those pre-designed header templates are available to you. The one thing to note here is that for the time being, you do not have the ability to unlink headers in Thrive Architect's visual editor like you do in Thrive Theme Builder. But if you are editing a global header in Thrive Architect, that change will apply to all the other instances of that header across the website, just like it did in Thrive Theme Builder's visual editor. So now let's get started building our very first sticky transition header example. This one was inspired by studios.com's homepage, and you'll notice that their page load header, it has a transparent background and then a white text logo and white page navigation. But as you scroll down, at some point the header transitions to have a white background, and then the logo and the navigation menu invert from white text to black text. So this is a super simple design, but really fits this particular homepage quite well. So let me show you how to build that with Thrive Architect. Okay, so here we are in the Thrive Architect visual editor, and we're using this visual editor because we're working on a landing page, a home page in particular. So this is going to be, because it's a standalone landing page customization, that's why we're doing it with Thrive Architect. If we were working on a header for a theme template, we would be using Thrive Theme Builder's visual editor. So to get started, let's click change header, because we don't want to modify, in this case, I don't want to modify the default site header. I want to create a new header, and I'm going to select this basic light pre-designed header because it's very similar to what we're building. I'll need to make the fewest modifications, and I'll just give it a name. How about simple sticky transition header? Okay, so you see that this header design picked up our logo that we set, and also our main menu, our WordPress main menu that we set here. Now let's click toggle the stretch content to full width option from on to off, and now we can set content width variables here. I like, say, 1100. And now we can enter the edit header mode, and it will our modifications will only apply to this new custom header we created. Okay, so the first step we want to do here is in the header options, click over content. And this is going to take the header to place itself on top of the hero image rather than the hero image starting at the bottom of the header. And you'll see why this is important in a second. Next, we're going to scroll down to the background style and make the background color transparent. Okay, but now our navigation and our logo are not looking good. They don't have good contrast with the background, so we need to change that. And one of the cool things you can do in your header designs is set a dark logo design and a light logo design. So we're going to switch from dark to light. And so now there's very high contrast between the background and the logo. And then in the custom navigation, we can change the font color from this black color to white. And so now that also has high contrast as well. And even though I only change one menu items in your custom menu element are grouped. So changing one automatically changes the others, like you see here. And if you want to be a little bit fancy, you can enter the hover mode and maybe set a hover color to your branding color as well. That is also a super cool feature, because if you use global branding color, if you ever change your brand color in the Thrive Theme Builder dashboard, these will automatically update as well. So you don't have to go in and change these one by one if you make a site-wide change like that. So let's click apply, go back to the normal state. And now you see that we have that hover color on our menu items. And that's basically all you need to do for desktop on the page load setting of this header. Now we need to mobile optimize it. So let's click on the tablet mode, and you can see that the hamburger, collapsible hamburger icon is black. Let's click on that, and we need to make the icon color go from black to white. And then if we open the menu state, you'll see that the menu items are white text on a white background. So to change that, we'll highlight one of them and change the color from white to black. And it's maintaining that hover color as well. So that looks great for tablet. And if we switch to mobile, the things look good here on the collapse state. And if we open the menu state, you'll see that the changes we made on tablet also cascaded down to mobile. So we're already good here. Let's go back to desktop. And from here, it's time to modify the scroll state header design. So how do we do that? If we highlight the header element and find the scroll behavior tab, we need to then click on sticky. And from here, we will switch on the switch on scroll option. And then you'll see here there's a switch after option where you can set a number of pixels. And what this will tell your header is how many pixels vertically down do you want to go when the header design switches from the page load state to the scroll state. So let's say something like 200. Something between 100 and 500 pixels is good because then the switch will happen around the above the fold line. And then from here, you'll notice that this option appeared in the floating editing header bar. It says on load, and if we click on it and change to on scroll, then what happens is the page load state duplicates itself, and you will start editing your on scroll state from that design. So let's do that now. Let's highlight the header element and go back to background style, and then let's change it from transparent to white. And let's go to the logo color and change it from light back to dark. So now you have that high contrast again. And here, if we can click on one of these white menu items, we need to change it from white back to black. Okay, looking great. So that's really all there is to do for this example on desktop. Let's just make sure it's optimized for mobile and tablet now. So on tablet, we need to change the hamburger icon from white back to black. Let's open the menu state, and that looks good already. Let's click on mobile and just check that everything's okay there, which it is. So that means we are done with this header design. If we click done, save our work, and you can see we have the on load state, which has the transparent background and the white text. And as we scroll down and hit that 200 pixel mark, it converts itself to a white background with that inverted black text instead. And this is going to be much better for the scroll state. It's going to blend much better into the below the fold state of the landing page as you scroll down. Now, how can we step it up a notch? This second example is inspired by Magic Leap's homepage. And what you see here is that same transparent background, but instead of just a logo and navigation, they have a call to action button. And if we scroll down, you'll notice that the transition happens pretty quickly, and the logo goes to not an inverse black logo color, but an alternate logo color, which you can do in the visual editor. And then their call to action button also shifts to that same sort of brand color. So let's see how to do that in the Thrive Visual Editor now. Okay, so same deal. Let's go in and click on Change Header, and we'll click Create New Header. And the template I think that most closely resembles our example here is the logo menu call to action number 4 template. So if we select that and set it, it's going to prompt us to give it a name. So this is going to be a brand new custom header, and our edits will only take effect for this header. We'll call it the call to action sticky transition header. Okay, so we have that same baseline header design. I'm going to do the same thing where I set a content width for the header before I start editing it. So now our call to action header template is loaded, and we can get started by making the header over content and changing the background style from white to transparent. From there, we'll need to change the logo to the light option and the typography of the navigation menu to white. Now we just need to change the call to action button to look more like the example. So we'll change the border and corners to have 90 pixels, so it's round. And we can call this our shop call to action button here. And let's just make sure that we set that target URL for that to our shop page. And because I have our WooCommerce integration set up, I do have a shop page ready to go that will link to. Okay, so this looks great on desktop. How about tablet and mobile? Okay, we need to change the hamburger icon to white and open the drop-down menu, and it's actually set to this full screen overlay, which I don't think looks good for this, so I'll make it drop down. And then we'll set the menu items from white to black. Okay, and then also another thing here, if I click on the custom menu element, let's set the padding here to 10 on each side, so it's a little bit tighter in the menu. And so that looks great on tablet. How about mobile? Okay, so one thing you see here is that the columns here are wrapping, and I don't really want it to do that. So if I select the columns element and unwrap the columns, this looks quite a bit better, and I can even adjust the column widths here so everything looks a bit nicer on the header. And now our page load state is ready to go. Let's switch to modifying the scroll state. So to get started modifying the scroll state, first let's make sure the header element is highlighted, and then we can come down to scroll behavior, click sticky. Toggle on, switch on scroll, switch after, let's say 300 pixels this time. And then, this is why it's really important to get your page state header design done first, because it's going to duplicate as is when you click the on scroll option. Okay? And from there, let's get started changing it to look like Magic Leap's homepage on scroll. So background style, let's switch this back to white. Let's change the logo, not back to dark, but instead I've uploaded a logo variation that's orange that matches my branding color, and I can choose it instead. I can have it ready here in the logo elements, ready to add. And then again, we'll switch the font color of the menu items from white to black. And silly me, one thing I forgot to do was change the actual button color on the page load state to be white. So let me change that now. In the on load state, I'm just going to select the button element, come into main options, and instead of the branding color, I'm going to have it be white, and then change the text typography from white to black, or maybe something a little bit lighter, a little bit of a lighter gray. Okay, and then let's make sure that's good on tablet and mobile as well. Fine. And then switch back to the on scroll state. And I've actually saved myself a little bit of work here, unknowingly, because what I wanted to do is have, like the Magic Leap example, it transitions to this branding red. Well, that's exactly what I wanted to do on the on scroll state. So now this is actually all set up in the on scroll state, and I'm just gonna make sure that the target URL copied over correctly in the scroll state, which it did. So now all we need to do is optimize this for tablet and mobile. So if I click on the tablet icon, let's find the hamburger menu, switch it from white to black. And then we will check the open state, it looks good. And then if we just check the mobile view, this also looks good. Actually, it looks like there's a little bit of a layout issue in the custom menu element. So let's change this instead of this 40-20-20. Let's say 10 all around. Yeah, I like it a bit tighter there. Okay. So we are mobile optimized on both the scroll state and the page load state. So we will click done and save our work. Now, if we preview our new header design, what you'll see is that as we hit that, what was it, 200, 300 pixel benchmark, we get it to transition and we have this really cool call to action that sticks with us as our visitors scroll down the page. And if I click to go to my shop page, whoop, there you have it. There is my WooCommerce shop page. And because I selected that default header in the beginning, you can see the default header is what's showing on my shop page here. So how can we take this up one more notch? And if you run a local or service-based business, you're gonna love this example because it's going to put your call to action front and center on scroll. So let's say instead of sending people to a shop page, what you really wanted to do is get people on the phone. So if you're a service-based business, that's probably important to you because getting people on the phone is how you make sales. So instead of sending people to a shop page, I'm going to take the header design we already have and just modify it a little. So we're on the onload header state. And instead of sending people to the shop, I'm going to change the inline text to put our phone number. And instead of the link sending people to the shop, I'm going to use this awesome click to call feature in the Thrive visual editor where you can type TEL : and then your phone number. And that way, if somebody clicks this button and they're on mobile, it will actually ask them if they want to put the call through, or if they're on desktop, it can open something like FaceTime or Skype to get the call that way. So this is a really cool feature for those of you that want to get people on the phone to make sales. Now, here's the cool design trick I'm gonna do for the scroll state. If I switch to scroll, this is cool, I'm gonna keep this set up. What I'm actually gonna do is delete the main navigation. And instead, I'm just gonna enter some text. I'm gonna center it, and instead of paragraph text, maybe you could keep a paragraph text or you could change it to plain text. And let's just bump the font size up a bit. And let's type in some benefit-focused copy to help people press that button. And finally, let's just modify the button to show our phone number. And you know, something even cooler we can do here is buttons in the Thrive visual editor allow you to add icons. So if I add an icon, I can actually change that from a credit card to a phone. Okay, and then in my on scroll state, I'll need to do that one more time. And now we just need to set the target URL to have that TEL and our phone number. Let's just make sure this is mobile optimized. So let's click on tablet, and that looks okay, but maybe it's better if we change the font size here to be a little bit smaller, not too small. Let's definitely change the font size here. Okay, and we can even change the column gutter width to buy a little bit more space. Okay, and if we check mobile, this isn't going to look very good. So what's best is probably to hide the text on mobile. Another thing we can do is set this fixed width to make it really small so the button fits a bit better. And then let's just make sure that all of our margins and paddings are nice. So this is centered, and our columns vertically centered, which it is. And if we click on the header and just look at its layout and position, let's go ahead and get a little more space here. Okay, and with that, our header is ready to go. And if we click done, save the work, and preview our homepage, so you can see as we scroll down the page, that header design transitions from a transparent background to a white background. And instead of having the main navigation available, only your primary conversion goal is there. And if you indeed click on the button, even on desktop, it's asking me if I want to connect the call on FaceTime. Just another great way to help get more people on the phone and make sales and make your website more conversion focused. So there you have it. Now you know how to build 3 different beautiful conversion focused sticky transition header designs for either your standalone landing pages with Thrive Architect or your theme templates with Thrive Theme Builder. Now, if you have any questions or you're stuck with how to build any of the examples I've shown here, I prepared a detailed, comprehensive blog post to go along with this video, so make sure to check that out. And if you don't have Thrive Architect or Thrive Theme Builder yet, make sure to get your copy today so you can get started deploying beautiful headers anywhere you need to on your website. Well, if you have any questions or comments, you know what to do. Leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.